Hello, assassins! I am John Hansen of Game Sandwich, and that is Kalo of Game Sandwich. We are here to go over our top five assassins in the Assassin's Creed series. It's another episode of Duelist. We're going to give you our top five. We need you to go down into the comments below. Let us know who has the better list. It's going to be me. You're going to see at the end of this. It's just, you can't get better than this list.
I feel like I know you're one and two. This could be flip flopped. I
Probably.
don't know. I don't know. I'll also real quick. Behind me there is an assassin's hoodie that does have a cowl that I was gonna throw on for this video, but I also
Oh, yeah?
realized it gets hot with these lights, and I could not do a
Yeah.
full video in that hoodie. I would probably die. But I digress.
There was a point where I wanted an assassin's jacket so bad.
I
You
caved.
would
I bought
see
one.
them like appear on like Facebook or stuff at the
Mm-hmm.
time, I remember. And I was like, man, I want one of those so bad, but they were too expensive for me. I was a teenager with no money. Uh and then in my early 20s, I bought one off of what was it called? Wish.
Yep.
So it came in and it was like really thin and everything, but I felt so cool. It was definitely like not made well or anything. It was
That's that one. That's that
yeah,
exact one. It has
yeah.
everything, and it's short. Like it's
Hmm.
horrible, but
Yeah,
I
it was
still
short
love
on
it.
me as well. I loved it though. I
Yeah,
wore it all the time. It was amazing.
you put the hood
All
up, and
right.
that's it.
But yeah, as I stated before, we are talking about our top five assassins from the Assassin's Creed games. A little bit of a nod towards Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is coming out this week as we are recording this. Hopefully, it's a good game. But yeah, the top two on this list were very easy for me, but it got a little harder going down. I don't know how hard was this for you to put together?
I think my top three are pretty solidified. It's four and five that I kind of struggled with, and then
Mhm.
um, I don't know. I have another option, but I'm gonna rock with the solid list right now. So
All right. Well, how about you get us started off? What is number five?
number five for me is gonna be Connor, and it's not for, I found him transformative or whatever. I got this game. It was the day that Hurricane Sandy hit my local area. I had
Real
no,
quick, we should mention it's Assassin's Creed 3,
yeah, Assassin's
if
Creed.
anyone doesn't know.
Yeah, just putting that out there. I got this game. Hurricane Sandy hit my local area, and I went to the local GameStop. My town was in ruins, and it was flooded. I still went to GameStop to get this game. I got the Steelbook, I got everything. And it was the sentiment of, like, I got home, my home magically got power the second I got back, and then we didn't have internet. You didn't need internet to play this game, and it was just the fact that I devoted so much time, like, by myself playing this game. Connor, to me, it just represents that period of time, and it was like, wow, Also, I just love the Revolutionary War era, so why wouldn't I love an assassin during that time?
Mhm.
That was a crazy storyline. Like, George Washington was there. I mean, it's all crazy stuff when you really look back on it, but all Assassin's Creed games are just like that.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, I thought about Connor because, like you, I enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3. I was I was in college and flunking out at the time, but I remember just like staying up all night playing Assassin's Creed 3 and skipping class the next day. Um, yeah, that wasn't great. But Connor Connor is probably the most boring assassin, if
Oh,
we're
yeah.
honest.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I couldn't put him on my list because of that. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, the story
I
of him
missed
being a
one.
Native American and then he has a father who's both British and a Templar. Like that stuff was really interesting, but man, you wouldn't know by Connor's expressions. Is just he was he was just a very milk toast kind of person.
Milk toast. But also, the way you start that game where you're playing as Hatham, I think his dad's name
Hmm.
is, and you're like, oh, this guy's an assassin. And then it's like, no, no. None a spoiler.
From this point forward, you will all be known as Templars. And then you hear Desmond go, "What the fuck?" And I was
Yeah.
like, I got goosebumps just thinking. That moment was really cool.
That twist alone, I was like, okay, now we're cooking here. But, you know, for the rest of the game, like you said, milk toast. But, you know, he looked cool.
Yeah, yeah. My number five will probably be a little controversial as well, so don't worry too much, Kev. Mine is Arno from Assassin's Creed Unity.
Okay.
I know a lot of people have a lot of hate for Assassin's Creed Unity. I really like that game still. I know it came out rushed. It was not ready to release when it did. But man, did I enjoy it. And we could talk about like all the Notre Dame being like so well made in there, and I just loved walking around France. The French Revolution and everything was really cool. But focusing on Arno, the thing I loved about him the most is this is where we started like getting the parkour system in Assassin's Creed. To this point, yeah, you could like climb up buildings, but going down them was a bit rough if there wasn't a haystack the eagle dive into. The thing I loved most about Arno is that he could sprint towards a ledge and you could hold a button and he would quickly descend down the side. And I think that's, if I remember right, yeah, they still have that in the Assassin's Creed games. This was where it started. And yeah, so Arno's pretty cool. I was always disappointed he only had the one hidden blade.
Yeah.
That was a bit weird to me that he, because at that point I was like, okay, every assassin should have the double hidden blades, but he only had one, but he could still do the double assassinations. He's not really, I don't know. This was also a weird time in the Assassin's Creed series where I thought that Ubisoft was trying to make it more about the Templars than the assassins, because they did this a lot around this time where it was always focused on, okay, this assassin is going to leave the assassins and he's going to think about the Templars in a different light. And I was like, I always thought that was weird. But Arno, his story with, I think her name was Elise, was kind of interesting. His love interest, who was a Templar as well. Yeah. Arno isn't, I mean, by no means is he near the top of my list. Number 5 was really hard for me.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, everything above this I can make a big argument for, but Arno, mostly for his parkour skills, is my number 5.
Yeah, it's funny after the number 5. It's always like, all right, now cream of the crop. You know, there are a few. With Assassin's Creed overall, from like 1 to now Shadows, there are certainly a handful of assassins in there that you're like, oh, they were a thing, and you can tell what era they existed in, where Ubisoft was either trying or starting to go downhill. So that was that era of time. But yeah, I respect Arno at number 5 for you.
All right, number 4, Kev.
Number 4, we're gonna go Edward Kenway. For me, Assassin's Creed, I always say it should be. I grant you, the next 2 are gonna contradict everything I say right now. I think it should just be focused on the stealth, focused on you're on land playing the game. But something about me wants to be a pirate. And then you throw in Edward Kenway. I was watching this show Black Sails at the time, so it was kind of like a mixture of pirate hype for me. And then I'm like, a pirate assassin. Okay, now we're talking. His multiple pistols. It was cool stuff. Simply cool aura for Edward Kenway, and I couldn't get enough. Also, it was weird how he became an assassin, where he killed the dude and he just took his clothes. He
technically was never an assassin. He just kind of took it. He did the pirate thing where he's like, no, I'm doing this now.
Yeah, it's like the Santa Claus. I was just about to say, he pulled a Tim Allen where he killed the guy and was like, I'm gonna wear your clothes now. But it's awesome. Like, yeah, so Edward Kenway is number 4 for me, but I do like the sailing. That's the other part. And the shanties.
The shanties were good. This is where I realized I don't like sailing. I know everyone loves Assassin's Creed 4. not my favorite, just because um, sailing is boring. Why I don't really like Sea of Thieves, I think. But Edward Kenway, strong choice for you. My number four is Bayek from Assassin's Creed Origins. When we talk about like characters and their stories, I think Bayek has one of the strongest stories in the
Yes.
Assassin's Creed series. There's the whole story about him losing his son and the trauma he deals with throughout the journey with that, and then his wife. Oh, we're finding her and they're in love, but as we get through the story, they separate because they just don't love each other anymore. It's one of those things. It just
Hmm.
happened. We got to see him be the first one to take off his ring finger with the hidden
Yeah.
blade, which is oh my god, that was
Ugh.
a that was an event.
Yeah.
Um, Bayek is really cool. I really enjoyed going through this game and seeing how he changed as a character. Um, Gameplay wise, I don't think he really does anything too different from any other assassin. It's pretty much just he's an Egyptian guy, and so we give him the is it called a scimitar?
Think so.
Yeah,
Sickle,
um,
scimitar, something like that.
pickle, yeah, something like that. This was also the first RPG Assassin's Creed, which
Hmm.
was a pretty big change for the series, and I think Bayek held that ground pretty well.
Yeah. No, that was whenever I looked at my list and I kind of gave that reaction, like, ah, damn it, that would have been my number five at least, or a number four. Bayek is a very great story to be told across that game, and like you said, it's the start of the era of RPGs, which my next few choices may include some people. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, let us know with your number three.
Number three is gonna be Ivor. As much as people bag on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I loved that final act where you're trying to redeem your brother, trying to get him back. He was under the influence of this weird religious lady, and her name is escaping me right now. But Ivor and how stubborn he was through the whole game, and coming to the realization of, you know what, I got to do what's right. And I just love Ivor. I love Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I said it. I've defended this game multiple times, and I will continue to do that.
Ivar is a great choice. I was very much considering him for my number five, but Arno just barely beat him out. Valhalla is a good game. And everything I don't like about that game, none of it has to do with Ivar. It's just Ubisoft developing, just putting too much into the game. I was very worn out by the end of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but Ivar as a character, great. You mentioned the story with his brother, that whole line, and then there's also like the connections to the gods. Where is Ivor Thor?
No, he's Odin. He's like a vessel for Odin.
Ivor is Odin. Sigrun is Thor,
I want to say
and
he's
then
Thor, and Bassam
Bethlehem
is
is
Loki.
Loki.
Yeah, that was a weird
Yeah,
plot line for me. I was like, huh?
it's very weird. That one really threw me off. The like connections to them and everything, and they go further with it in Mirage. It doesn't make sense to me at all, and well,
It was a weird time. It was a weird time.
it was very weird. But Ivor as a character, very cool. Viking assassin was a cool idea. Yeah, no, I totally respect Ivor. My number three, this might be a bit of a cheat. You let me know because it's technically two.
I, I
The
know. Where
Fry twins
I'll let it
from
go.
okay, from Assassin's Creed Syndicate. The reason why I went with both of them, it's Jacob and Evie Fry, is it's not like it's not like other assassins where they have multiple of them. It's like okay, you can just choose one and play through the whole thing.
Hmm.
This game, you
You
kind of
need both.
had to choose who you were, or you would swap between them as you went
Yeah.
through the story. Evie was the more stealth focused person, while Jacob was the brawler. And I thought they were really interesting. I don't think you could separate them and have the same experience as you would like having them together. Like having them together kind of felt like this was the one assassin that really pushed this forward. I really enjoyed the Fry twins. I like the way
Yeah.
they work together and argue because they're siblings. Um, Evie is the more like thoughtful person, while Jacob is brash, and I'm just going in and we're gonna fight. Some really interesting stories here. I still am meaning to go back and play the Jack the Ripper DLC.
Ooh,
I never got around to doing that. I really want to see that through because I've heard it's pretty good.
so good.
But yeah, the Fry twins, I really love them.
Yeah, no, I love that pick. Again, it gets to the point now, 1 and 2, where I'm like, oof, I gotta really stick to my guns here for the list, but they can easily sneak in, honestly, anywhere here. So yeah, I like the Fry twins.
Number two.
Number 2, Cassandra. I'm going number 2 for Cassandra. Number 1, everyone kind of gets it, but Cassandra, for this point, there was a thing where you could pick the female or the male version. I went with the female, and that's because I heard rumblings that the male's voice delivery,
It's bad.
and the female,
Alexios.
yeah, Alexios.
Alexios is bad.
And then you get to Cassandra and the voice acting there. I mean, some really great stuff. And I also just love all of like ancient Greece and everything that has to do with the gods and stuff there. But for Cassandra, she shows up in Valhalla too, where it's like, oh, there's a nice little crossover, a little deal there. At the time, though, this is where I played Origins, I skipped Odyssey, and then I played Valhalla because I was like, oh, Assassin's Creed is just going to be a giant RPG. But I seen Cassandra there, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Maybe I should give this game a try. And then suddenly I'm looking at Assassin's Creed Odyssey being one of, if not my favorite Assassin's Creed game of all time.
I'm right there with you, and I will probably talk about Cassandra a little bit later. My number two, though, is what I'm sure your number one is: Ezio de Auditore da Francia, blah blah blah, or whatever.
Di Francesca or something like that.
Francesca, yeah. It's freaking Ezio. Like, come on, we all love Ezio. His role in Assassin's Creed 2 really got me interested in the series. I was ready to write off the entire series after the first game. I didn't like it at all. I was not a fan. And that's probably a big reason why Altair doesn't make my list. But Ezio, man, Roger Craig Smith, oh my God, what a delivery of the Ezio voice. You may know him now as Sonic the Hedgehog, but man, he just absolutely gave Ezio life, and his witty comebacks to stuff, the way that he was working to avenge his family that were wrongly hung. Yeah, this was the one assassin we actually got to see the full journey of. Like, he got multiple games. We got to see him start as the assassin and then go all the way through to his death.
Yeah.
Like, that's special. We haven't gotten that in other Assassin's Creed games. Everyone else has, for the most part, been a one-off. Ezio's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll just lump this into yours. He's my number one, again, simply because of that, where ever since Ezio finished his story, name me an assassin that rivals, even comes close to what he did across these games. And it's just, again, a character that lives on past Assassin's Creed. Like, you'll go to other game franchises and be like, oh, I'm thinking of Ezio. Like, he rivals this character. Again, it's just the era also in which all of his games, like, spanned. Some great quality stuff there.
Yeah. No one's going to fault you for picking him number one. My number one, though, was your number two, Cassandra. You mentioned it. The voice acting. I looked up her name because I forgot, but Melissanthi Mahut is the voice actor's name. Whole shout out to her. Well, this came out in 2019, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I was fully gung ho on her getting a voice actor of the year. Cassandra is perfectly voiced, which is such a stark contrast to Alexios,
Yeah.
who know what they were thinking with that voice. It was like super deep and gravelly, and it just sounds bad the entire time he's talking. But Cassandra is awesome. Her abilities, how she's like linked into the Atlanteans, is really cool to me. Uh, I really love with the Leonidas spear. Uh, you could do ranged assassinations and you could chain them. So you could throw the spear and then she would teleport over to them, yank it out of them, and then throw it to another one. Probably my favorite move in all of Assassin's Creed. Like there's been some good ones, but that the chain assassinations in that game were just so amazing. Um, what was the little kid's name? Uh, Blanking on it
Oh,
right now because it's been years since I played. There was a little kid that she
at
was
the
very
start.
dear friends with. She ends up dying, and that was such a gut wrenching moment.
Yeah.
Um, this was also really the first Assassin's Creed game I can think of where some of your choices mattered. So there was one mission that you could go to, and there was a plague that broke out in a village, and there was just one family left, and they're about to be eradicated by um, a group of religious people. And you had the chance to say, hey, you can't do this. I'm going to put a stop to you killing this family. Or you say, okay, go ahead and do it. And if you let them, the plague ends. But if you fight and save them and let them go off, another island in the area just becomes completely infected with this plague. Stuff like that was really cool. Yeah, Cassandra is my number one. Uh, Probably because of stuff like that where the choices actually mattered
Oh
for
yeah.
her. Um, but yeah, I can't argue against Ezio at number one. We could say 1A, 1B for these,
Oh
but
yeah.
we're doing a top five list. So
It's also interesting to kind of see where Ubisoft had Ezio. Everyone thinks that's the cream of the crop. But for a character like Cassandra to roll around during this era of Assassin's Creed where the series is down and like not at its peak, for that character to stand out and be like, well, this is Ezio's closest competition in years. It's like they did something there. And
mhm.
there's also a point, I think it was within Odyssey, where she gets the staff of Poseidon and she's rocking a suit. I'm like, for this whole game,
Oh yeah,
you're rocking your armor, and then you just roll up in like a black suit that's like modern.
that was really cool because yeah, when she has the staff, she's immortal,
Yeah, I was like,
and yeah, that was quite. I wouldn't call it a twist, but that was unexpected. I wasn't expecting for her to just walk up in modern day clothing. Uh, was her accent different too? Like, did she, or maybe not?
she
I
still
can't
had
remember.
the
It's been a long
accent,
time.
but yeah, like because I
Yeah,
recently played this and I was like, oh, this is new. Like it was that moment, and I forgot which Assassin's Creed it was when the what's the spirit people, like the giant weird alien people.
oh, pro, pro something. Crap.
The weird spirit
I'm
people,
blank.
yeah. Whenever
I'm
she looks
blanking.
directly at you and you're playing the game and she's talking to you, I'm like, what? Like, what is Assassin's Creed? What are we doing? Like, is this. You're breaking the fourth wall here. But yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
series, going through all the different stories, all the different assassins. And I'm pretty interested to see what Yahweh and this new cast of characters what they're capable of, because again, this is the era we've all been waiting for.
Cursors.
Oh, precursors, like Jack and Daxter. Look at
Was
that.
I guess. Yeah.
Hmm?
Okay. Whatever. Yeah. It's our list of the top five assassins from Assassin's Creed. Let us know in the comments who has the better list. This one, this one I think would be tough to choose between because they're all good. I probably get the edge though because you included Connor. Come on,
See, that's my
top five
downfall.
assassin.
That's my
That that
downfall.
that, that was that was an interesting move there, I gotta say. But yeah, let us know who wins. Also, let us know your top 5 assassins. Where did we get this wrong? Subscribe to see any of our future videos, and we'll catch you in the next one.
If you enjoyed today's video and want more content just like this, consider subscribing to Game Sandwich for all your news, rumors, and reviews. And we'll see you guys next time.